If you're managing a sales team right now, let me ask you a question that kind of goes against everything we thought we knew.
Hmm.
Did you know that when you hire a salesperson with, incredibly high levels of prior experience, you might actually be limiting their long-term performance?
It's a shocking finding, right? It completely challenges decades of conventional wisdom that always said, hire the proven track record.
But the research suggests that track record comes with an expiration date.
It really does.
And that's exactly why we need to dig into this. We are tackling that high-stakes, age-old question in sales management: who should we hire? And maybe more importantly, how should we coach them?
Yeah. And getting this wrong isn't cheap. The cost of hiring and onboarding just one new salesperson can be anywhere from, $54,000 up to $200,000?
A staggering number. So in the next few minutes, we are breaking down some unique academic research into 3 specific actionable sales tactics.
These will help you hire and coach your team to really increase performance over the long haul.
This is Inside Sales Geek, where we translate dense academic sales research into practical strategies that actually work.
We want to make sure you have the shortcut to being the most informed manager in the room.
So the research we're drawing from here is it's pretty crucial because it uses multi-source longitudinal data.
Right, so it's tracking sales performance over several years and in both B2B and B2C settings.
Which lets us see how performance actually changes over time, not just in the first quarter. It gives you a true picture of that career trajectory.
The ultimate potential.
Exactly. Okay, so let's unpack this core trade-off. It's like we're trading immediate revenue for that ultimate potential.
Let's start with tactic 1. Defining your hiring strategy based purely on how long you realistically expect that salesperson to stay with your company.
So what's the core finding here?
Well, the research is really clear. Prior sales experience and formal sales education, they result in distinct and dramatically opposing performance trajectories over time.
Opposing? How so? Let's break down the experience path first.
Okay, so prior sales experience significantly enhances initial performance. You hire someone with 10 years on the job, they hit the ground running fast.
Right, they have a network, they know the jargon, they look great in month 1.
Totally. That's the good news. But the bad news is that the research shows that same experience dramatically inhibits the rate of their performance growth over time.
So their curve just flattens out early, they hit a plateau.
A plateau they often can't break through, yes.
So a powerful short-term injection, but maybe not a long-term growth investment.
Exactly.
Now, compare that to someone with formal sales education, so college coursework in selling, but maybe less real-world experience.
That person is the complete opposite. Formal sales education shows almost no significant impact on initial performance.
They start slow.
Very slow. You don't see that immediate burst. However, the data is just crystal clear that this background enhances their rate of performance growth over time. They start slow, but they accelerate, and they keep accelerating.
Okay, this is where we have to get into the why. Because why would having more experience actively hurt your ability to adapt and grow? The research talks about mental models and cognitive load.
Yes, this is the nugget you need to understand. It all comes down to how they first learned to sell.
Okay.
Think about that experienced hire. They often learned in what the research calls a trial by fire environment.
High pressure, make the number now.
Right. A high extraneous cognitive load. And this context forced them to automate what we call suboptimal selling schemata.
Okay, wait, hold on. Schemata. Break that down for us in plain English for a manager.
Yeah, good question. Think of schemata as their internal knowledge structures, their habits, their personal selling blueprint.
Their playbook.
Their playbook, exactly. And when you learn under high pressure, you automate whatever works just enough to survive.
So maybe an aggressive closing technique that worked 5 years ago but feels dated now.
Precisely. That flawed foundation lets them start fast. They have automated something, but those suboptimal habits cap their long-term potential because they just can't unlearn them easily.
So they picked up a highly efficient but ultimately flawed operating system.
That's a great way to put it.
And the sales-educated new hires, they learned in a safer environment.
Exactly. They learned in a controlled, goal-free environment. So low pressure, low cognitive load. They were focused on a holistic general sales process, learning the why before they ever had a quota.
Which creates a better foundation, a high-quality schemata.
A high-quality, flexible one. Instead of a rigid script, they have a framework they can adapt and refine on the job. That's why they keep growing.
So what does this all mean for the manager who's trying to hire today?
It means you need to align your hiring decision precisely to your firm's expected tenure. This is the takeaway.
Yeah.
If your organization has high turnover, let's say the average salesperson stays for less than, say, 18 months. Hiring for experience might be your only option.
You need to capture those quick short-term gains before they leave.
You maximize the quick revenue burst, yeah.
But what if I'm trying to build a team for the long haul? I want retention.
Then you have to optimize for the long term. If your goal is to build a team that stays for 3 to 5 years, then hiring those with formal sales education is the optimal strategy.
And the data backs this up.
The data from both B2B and B2C samples shows that the sales-educated hires, they begin to really take off and actually surpass their experienced counterparts after about 15 to 21 months on the job.
So that 18-month mark is the inflection point.
It's the inflection point. If your average employee stays past that, the rookie is the better long-term bet.
That's a powerful data point to bring to your next hiring meeting. If your turnover is low, stop obsessing over the experienced candidate.
Now here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, so let's unpack that. What if you already have experienced hires on your team and they've hit that plateau? This next part, tactic 2, is crucial for coaching.
It really is, because the impact of your coaching varies drastically depending on their background. For experienced hires, the coaching method most of us default to, direct correction, is actually detrimental.
You're saying it makes things worse?
It makes things worse. The research found that sales manager reinforcement feedback, so that's direct correction, after a poor performance, pointing out a mistake on a call, that actually amplifies the negative effect of prior experience on their growth. You are locking them into that plateau.
Wait, that doesn't make sense to me. If they're underperforming, why does pointing out their mistake make it worse? Isn't that just good management?
It relates directly back to those automated, flawed habits and the confidence they built. Experienced salespeople have confidence in their capabilities, even if those capabilities are suboptimal.
Right. They think they know what they're doing.
Exactly. So when you, the manager, give them direct critical feedback, they interpret it as a threat to their competence, to their ego.
And that immediate psychological reaction just closes them off to the idea.
It does. Instead of a learning moment, it becomes resentment. They get defensive. They stop learning from you.
So you need an indirect coaching style to bypass that ego defense mechanism. What does the research say works? What's tactic 2?
The solution is manager role modeling. The research found that role modeling, so setting the right example through your own behavior, like you running a perfect discovery call.
Or me handling a complex objection on a joint call.
Yes. That reduces the negative effect of prior experience on their performance growth.
So instead of telling them, you handled the price objection wrong, you show them how you handle it flawlessly.
Precisely. And here's why it works. Experienced hires have high cognitive bandwidth.
Meaning what?
Because their basic selling process is automated, they have the mental space to observe and process subtle behaviors you're modeling. They aren't trying to remember their own script, so they can actually watch you.
And they can leverage that indirect feedback to sort of self-manage. They improve without suffering a blow to their ego.
Exactly. So the application is clear. If your experienced rep is struggling, don't confront them. Instead, intentionally model the behaviors you want to see. You don't even have to call attention to it. They're watching.
Quick pause. If you're finding this valuable, hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's deep dive. And share this with your sales team. Now here's the fun part. Tactic 3, our final takeaway, is how we coach the sales-educated rookie, and it requires the exact opposite management style.
That's right. It's a complete reversal. Sales-educated new hires thrive on direct feedback.
The very thing you said to avoid with the experienced reps.
Exactly. The research found that reinforcement feedback, that direct correction, actually enhances the positive effect of their education on their performance growth over time.
So why do they respond so well to being told they're making a mistake?
Because they're used to it. They learned in that safe, classroom-like environment. They see mistakes as learning opportunities, not as an ego threat.
They expect you to be a mentor.
They want that feedback. They see it as this direct path to getting better, faster. They don't have an old identity built around a flawed process to protect.
They're ready to be told, your pitch was 3 minutes too long, cut the slide.
They crave that instruction.
But here's the catch. We said role modeling is great for the experienced rep, but for the rookie, it's more complex.
It is. Role modeling has a nuanced effect on them. Initially, it can actually reduce their performance.
Reduce performance? How can watching their manager do a good job make the rookie temporarily worse at selling? That defies logic.
It comes back again to cognitive load. Initially, these new hires are devoting all of their mental energy to just automating the basics, the foundational process they learned in school.
They need to master the steps before they can master the dance.
Beautifully put. They just lack the cognitive bandwidth to process subtle managerial behaviors on top of that. So they might try to blindly model their manager's advanced moves.
Yet it's clumsy and ineffective because they don't have the foundation yet.
Exactly. They get overloaded. It undermines their early performance.
So the application here is all about patience and timing. For your educated hires, be direct, be consistent with feedback. That's what they need early on.
Drill those fundamentals first.
Right. And then use role modeling carefully. Understand that if you introduce it too early, you might actually see them struggle for a bit.
And then once they have that core foundation automated, then you introduce role modeling to accelerate their growth to the next level.
Okay, let's recap. Let's boil this down to the 3 tactics you can implement tomorrow.
Let's do it.
First, tactic 1. Align your hiring to your expected tenure. Use experience for short-term gains if your average tenure is less than about 18 months.
Or prioritize formal sales education for superior long-term growth and high-performance acceleration after that 18 to 21-month mark.
Second, tactic 2. Coaching experienced hires. To help them break that plateau, use manager role modeling.
That indirect behavioral example. And you need to strictly avoid that direct critical reinforcement feedback that triggers their ego.
And finally, tactic 3. Coaching the sales-educated rookie. Use frequent, direct reinforcement feedback immediately to help them learn.
And introduce role modeling later in their tenure, only after they've automated their foundational sales process.
So pick one of these to test with your team this week. Track your results.
And see what happens. This shift from, conventional wisdom to a data-backed strategy can fundamentally change your sales floor.
I have a final provocative thought on this, just looking beyond the numbers and into team culture.
Ooh, I like this.
The research also noted that sales education relates positively to in-group ties, social connection, while experience relates negatively to external social capital.
So they're connected to their old network, not their new one.
Right. So it raises this question. Does a hiring focus on experience inadvertently create isolation because they trust their old network more than their new team?
While a focus on education naturally builds stronger team ties and interdependence, something to mull over as you build your culture.
This has been Inside Sales Geek, translating academic research into wins for your team.
New deep dive every Tuesday.